All right, welcome back, everyone, to Koinos Talk Live. Mainnet is out. How you doing?
We are here. Yeah, man. Super excited. This has been a lot of fun over the weekend, getting to play around with mainnet, getting the burn pool launched. Yeah, lots of exciting things happening in the Koinos community.
Yeah, if you didn't check out the launch, I think this might be one of the few mainnets that got launched live on the show. But check out Koinos Network's own YouTube page. It got posted there.
Did I lose you, Kui? You with me? Your audio. Oh, sorry, everybody. We got to get this fixed. Well, while Kui is figuring that out, today we wanted to talk about basically issues people are having, what we've seen, questions that we've had come up about mainnet. You're back, by the way.
Gotcha.
Great. Yeah, so we just want to go through some of the things that have been already fixed with the UX. The actual blockchain itself is operating flawlessly, so things are going really well there. Couple gotchas with the actual apps that people are using though, so we'll talk through those.
Yeah, so straight off the bat, we'll talk about the claim process, and then we'll talk about the block producing aspect of it, VHP. There's a lot of terminology. People were coming in, they bought the token and they didn't keep up to date during development process. We want to go through the full understanding of Koinos, talk a little bit about Burn Coin, and then we'll let you guys go, and that's will be the show. So let's jump right into claim. Let's talk about claim real quick. All right, so I'm going to pull up some graphics, and then we're going to walk through each of the issues that people have seen. A lot of these have been fixed already, so if it impacted you, then it should already be fixed. But if it impacted you and then you stopped and you're wondering what happened, this should help you. So let's go with the first one. Let's talk about Condor a little bit. If you claimed, you would have claimed through claim.koinos.io with Condor wallet and MetaMask or some other item. Now, early Condor, it looked like this. This is somebody's screenshot that he sent us over here. We have the error here. It says error contract does not exist, code 102. The purple version of Condor is version 0.52, and it was pointed to testnet. And so it doesn't know what the coin contract is on mainnet. So you got this error, and you would see that it says loading T-coin. It doesn't know what the coin address is. So it doesn't mean that you didn't complete the claim. It just means that it can't connect to mainnet.
That's right. So if you have this and you need to update Condor, just make sure that you copy down your private key, your seed phrase before you go like reinstalling, just to make sure. And that's generally good practice anyway. Write it down on a piece of paper, stamp it into steel, do whatever is suits your security mindedness, but keep that safe. Don't show it to anybody else.
As far as your keys go, you would have gotten a 12-word seed phrase at the beginning of generating a wallet with Condor. If you, for some reason, did not record that seed phrase, it will never show again. I don't think there's a way to make it pop up, but you can still get your private key. All you have to do is, if you're using Chrome, right-click on Condor icon, manage extension, and then you're gonna have to enter your password to unlock the private key, and then it'll show up on the bottom. Just make sure you save that key. We did have one person who unfortunately saw that, didn't get a chance to save the key, and now his tokens are locked up on the chain forever. So we don't want that to happen to anybody. Let's see, what's the next one over here? Did we cover all that, version 5.2 to version 6?
Yep. Get updated to 6, and you'll be able to use mainnet. Now, actually, 052 does work with mainnet. It just doesn't show your balance and you get that error. So if you were using burn coin or something like that, you could still do it with 052, but it's not obvious that it's working correctly.
Right. So let's bring up another screenshot someone showed us. Now, these are all public screenshots that people just sent over to an open area. So I'm not taking address or anything. These are things that are just out there already. So here's another one. You get through the whole process, steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you get this error down here. It says claim error, chain ID mismatch. Luke, what do you do when you have a chain ID mismatch?
So when you get this chain ID mismatch, there's a setting in Condor that you can go through, which again should be fixed in 060. So if you get updated there, you shouldn't have this problem anymore. But if you do run into this, go to the Condor extension, right click, go to options, and there's a field there for chain ID. And what you want to do is just clear that out, make it empty, and hit set chain ID, and then go through this again, and you should have this problem fixed.
Yeah, once you set the ID, you are setting an empty and blank chain ID. When you might have to shut down your entire browser and start up again, and what it'll do is it'll pull the correct chain ID. The old one was set to testnet, the new one's pointed to mainnet, but if you update to version 6, problem gets resolved itself. So that's that guy. All right, next guy.
Before we go to the next one, just want to call out, great comment here. Viewing options in Condor also allows you to see your seed phrase in version 0.5 after inputting your password. So same deal there. Just, when you right click on Condor, go to options, you can enter your password again and see the seed phrase and private key for that account. So again, don't show that to anybody. Make sure you're not screen sharing or anything like that when you pull that up. But if you need to get access to the seed phrase after you've already set up the wallet in Condor, that's how you get to it.
There's also a couple questions about what the difference between a seed phrase and private key was. It's a question that isn't specific to Koinos. You can Google it, but in short, a seed phrase is 12 letters and words that you can store, and it allows you to create multiple accounts or multiple wallets based off of that seed phrase. Now, with seed phrases, if you save them and you misspelled something, there is a way to recover it just by guessing. Thanks to English language, if you misspell something, you can still figure out what word it is. But on the private key side, one private key, one address, that's it. And if you misspell one thing, you don't know where it really is. It's very hard to recover from that. That's why seed phrases generally are preferred.
Yeah. So if you're saving your private key in a notebook or something like that, much more likely that you'll misread your handwriting and swap out a 0 for an O or something like that. Where with a seed phrase, that's much harder to do.
All right, let's see what else we got here. I think this guy right here. All right, this error is probably the most common error that I've seen people have an issue with. So it says claim error, Ethereum address mismatch, transaction reverted, Ethereum address mismatch. So this one's a little bit unique. You can manually enter addresses, whether it's a Condor address or the Ethereum address, into the claim site. You can also connect to it and it'll grab the address automatically. If you somehow insert in step 1, so let's go back to this screenshot right here. I believe you connect your MetaMask wallet. In step 2, you connect Condor. In step 3, you sign a message. If you sign a message with a different address than you inserted in step 1, because you did it manually, you will get this mismatch issue. My suggestion is that when you go through steps 1 and 2 and 3, don't use a toggle switch. Do things automatically. Click on connect MetaMask, connect Condor, and let it pull the address in automatically. And that way you won't get this issue.
Yeah, and if you do paste it in, make sure you're not just like highlighting and copying and that kind of thing. Like go to MetaMask, click the button to copy it, and put that in. So less user error opportunity there.
Now, one important thing that we've seen a lot of issues with is that if you do find an error, before you try to troubleshoot and say, oh, it's my Condor wallet, I'm gonna try the transaction again, what I highly recommend you do is you go to koinosblocks.com. And there's a nice empty field there where you can dump your address in, your Condor or Koinos CLI wallet address. And what it will do is it will search the blockchain and it will check how many tokens are in it. Chances are that if you go through the claim process, some error might pop up, but it may have still gone through. Just check before you do anything. And I'll show you a screenshot right here. So I just generated this wallet address earlier today, and there's no tokens in it. And so if you have no tokens, you get non-mana. What non means is not a number. It doesn't mean non like the bread. But you basically means you have no tokens in this wallet. If you do see address, if you do search your address and there are tokens, but your claim gave an error, don't worry. It means your claim was completed. There was just some error that popped up, but you have your tokens. You're good.
Now I want naan. Sounds good.
Garlic naan with some good ghee.
Yeah. So yeah, and Koinos blocks is kind of the ether scan of Koinos. There's work being done on it, so like little things like that with the naan, and more improvements to the UI and the theming and all that. Those are all being worked on by Ungrave. So keep an eye out for those updates.
I think that's generally all the issues with people trying to connect MetaMask. If you're using my Ether wallet, the situation is a little more complicated. I don't think we're going to cover that here, but I did write a Medium article that kind of shows exactly what you need to do. Long story short, you basically have to copy a message and sign it using my Ether wallet. But if you have Coinbase wallet, if you have Ledger, all of those devices or all those wallets still work. You just have to go through an additional interface. So I've been using Ledger and I use it through MetaMask. So it would basically be the same thing, but I got to click some buttons on my device.
Right. Yeah.
Coinbase app. Go ahead.
Sorry, you skipped on my end. Not sure if everybody saw that, but
okay. Let's see. Make sure my voice is coming through. But Coinbase wallet. The only way to do it without use MetaMask or anything is to download the Coinbase web extension. Make sure you download from an official source.
Seems like Qui's having some network issues, but so to Qui's point, when we're talking about Coinbase wallet, whatever wallet you are using for Ethereum, you're not really locked in to that. So Coinbase wallet, Ethereum, whatever, you can continue to use that to do the claim, but the actual process is going to be a little bit different. So if you do run into any issues, you could very easily export your seed phrase or private key from that wallet and then set up a MetaMask for that same wallet without needing to transfer your tokens around or anything. And that'll allow you to complete the claim process. So if you run into issues, just hit us up on Discord and we can help talk you through whatever issues you're having. And hopefully get you sorted without needing to set up a new wallet.
Does my audio come through now? I guess I'm going to use my backup mic. Okay, all right. Thanks for following that one up. You're not locked into any particular wallet. Now, I do want to make one thing. If you're using Trust Wallet, in my Medium article, I did say click on a particular Wallet Connect. You don't have to download anything. Wallet Connect allows you to sign on remotely through Trust Wallet. Any other questions, feel free to dump them in the chat room or in Telegram. Someone will definitely help you out.
Cool. All right. We've got another good question here from Spurgeon Brooks. What are the benefits of claiming versus waiting? This is really important. So I do want to call out that right now on mainnet, there's not a whole lot that you can do with your tokens, right? You need dApps to really use the mana. And so you need to kind of have a purpose to claim. One of the most common purposes right now, it seems like, is actually using the blockchain to produce blocks and earn profit for that. So whether you're looking to use Burncoin, the burn pool to, not have to run your own node and still earn some profit, or whether you want to run your own node, that is, both options are available to you. So that's kind of the main reason you would want to claim today. If you're not looking to mine, there's not really a great case to go claiming right now, unless you just really want to. But what happens when you claim is that you increase the supply of the blockchain, which then impacts how many tokens are being created through inflation. So if you're not looking to mine and there isn't a dApp in particular that you want to use, I would just hold off, keep your Ethereum private keys safe and you can do the claim at any time. There's no time limit. So
yeah, that brings into our segue of the next option that we're talking about here. So I think we covered claim questions generally well. Again, if you have any questions about claim, put them in the chat room. We'll answer them live. But let's segue into some terminology that you find on the blockchain. I know people are buying tokens and they don't get a chance to follow up. They live their busy lives. So let's talk a little about these tokens and what their properties are. So we have two main tokens on the Koinos blockchain. We have coin token with a K, and then we have the VHP token. Luke, why don't you do the coin token real quick?
Yeah, so coin is the main token for Koinos. You can think of it a lot like ETH on Ethereum. But the distinct difference is that where on other smart contract platforms, you have a gas fee that gets paid in that native currency. So you actually see your balance deducted. Coin has a property called mana. And so when you use network resources, it spends your mana, but that's not a token. It's a property of the token. And it's attached to your wallet. So really, to use an example, if you had 100 coin and then you did something that cost 10 mana, let's say, which would be very expensive. There's nothing costing anywhere near that at this point. You would spend down 10 mana and you'd be able to execute the transaction. And what that does is it locks 10 of your coin. So they're now frozen. You can't transfer them out of the wallet. You can't use their mana, but you still have 90 that are liquid. So then the mana that you spent recharges progressively it takes 5 days to go from 0% to 100% for your wallet. So if you're spending 10 and you had 100, it'll take about 12 hours to go from that back to full. So once you're at full, you don't continue to accumulate mana. So it behooves you to actually like keep spending a little bit of mana so that you're always benefiting from that recharging. So yeah, it's a trade-off. Obviously, everything on Koinos is kind of balanced around opportunity costs. So there's a short-term liquidity hit for using the network, but not a monetary hit. So you still keep your balance. You don't lose any tokens in the process.
Yeah, that feature of mana is unique to liquid coin only. There's no other way to get it. Now, what else can you do with coin? You can burn coin.com. You can burn coin and mine with it. And when you do that, there's a special method in the blockchain that allows you to destroy coin and you get this token called VHP, or virtual hash power. The unique thing about virtual hash power is that A, it does not have any mana, no matter what. And so once you burn your coin, you will never have mana until you convert that burned coin, which is called VHP, back into coin. And to do that, you have to use the VHP and mine with that token. You also have to run a node in order to do that, in order to mine. Obviously, there's a burn pool right now out there called BurnCoin, which is created by Luke and I. You can check it out at burncoin.com. It is a way to run a mining node without actually having to run the node itself. So you don't need any equipment. It's basically deposit, you get back this token called PVHP, which we'll go into later in the show, and you can mine. So with the PVHP, the goal was to get at least 50% of the network to burn the coin. And that way, if more than 50% is burned, the network is secured because you cannot acquire any more tokens to produce blocks. I feel like I'm not explaining that very well.
Well, let me try it a different way, because I think we're going to say the same thing here, but always helps to have multiple angles to approach the same problem. So the two tokens of Koinos are coin and VHP, and VHP is just it represents your chance of producing a block successfully. So if there's 100,000 VHP in existence, which right now there's a lot more than that, and you held 50,000, then you would produce roughly 50% of the blocks. And that's assuming that all the VHP is producing at a given time. Just holding it in your wallet doesn't mean that you're actually producing blocks. You need to have a node running and producing blocks for that wallet. And then when you produce blocks, that's when your VHP gets converted back into coin. So for every block that you produce successfully, you reduce your balance of VHP a little bit and get coin back plus a little extra. So when you burn coin, you get 1-to-1 VHP, and then when you produce a block, you lose VHP, and then you get coin plus extra. So that's where the profit comes in. And those rewards come completely from inflation on Koinos because there are no gas fees to route to block producers. The only source of actually paying block producers is through inflation. You could implement like a system-wide tax or taxes on specific things to create rewards, but that's that'd be a weird area to get into, and something to explore through governance in the coming years if there's demand for that. But I think inflation is a very good, simple mechanism for creating tokens for rewards.
Yeah, and right now on coin at 2%, if it does change, we'd have to require a governance vote, which means all participants who are mining would have to basically vote out a higher or lower number about whether or not or how long it takes to convert VHP point. So if you burn and get VHP beginning mining, and you remember when you convert VHP back to coin, so you're going to see your balance decrease and your coin balance increase. So if you're not to reburn ever, slowly see your VHP dwindle, it will take you 1 year to convert all that token back into, and your rate of APY would be roughly about 2%, depending on what the conditions are. But that's the number you should normally target if you're not going to reburn. If you do reburn and the system's working ideally, you should earn about 4% plus minus. But I think I just pulled up some stats. You know what? Say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the actual reward, so if you burn X coin, when you produce blocks successfully and get that back plus the profit, you will get the same amount back by the time it's fully completed, regardless of how much you burnt. You know, once you go through the full conversion process of producing blocks and getting your coin back as VHP, you're going to make the same amount of profit as anybody else. The difference is the timeline. So if there's 50% of coin is burnt and is now VHP, then it'll take, as Kui said, I think it's a year. It might be 6 months with the intention to reburn in the middle or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But it'll take a year, let's say, to go fully from from VHP back to coin with 4% profit. And then if you're 25% burnt and now there's 1 VHP for every 3 coin, then it'll take half the amount of time. So you can get a higher rate of return by reburning and reinvesting in being part of the block producers. But if you are just waiting for it to come back to you fully as coin, and you're not going to be reburning, then you're going to get the same amount of profit. It'll just be in a shorter amount of time.
I think one of the most important things for people to understand is that there's a fixed reward pool. It's 2% of the virtual supply. And the virtual supply, by definition, is the total amount of coin and the total amount of VHP there is out there. So I pulled up some stats from the CLI, so I can read them out to you to see how the health of the network is going right now. So as of today, 2:55 p.m. Eastern time, November 7th, we have, let's see here, we have about 6.7 coin total supply, 6.7 million, and 6.8 million VHP. So we're slightly more than 50% of tokens are being burned, which is, I think, very, very healthy. Exactly what we want. We want at least 50%. We're a little bit over it. So in total, we have about, just slightly over 13.5 million tokens claimed. 13% of the network has been claimed, basically.
Yeah. So with 13% claimed, there's still obviously 86 million some odd coins out there that haven't been claimed. And I'm looking at claim.koinos.io, and I see that there were 3,754 accounts captured in the snapshot. 340 of those have claimed. So we're almost at 10% of wallets have actually have gone through the claim process, and about 13%, 14% of the tokens have been claimed. So we're in a pretty good spot. Really close to 50% burnt. And yep, as Frank just called out in the chat, 17 addresses are producing blocks at the moment. So that's a pretty good number for where we're at, with 340 wallets claimed, having 17 producers. I think that'll, we'll continue to see a similar trend there, and the burn pool is one of those addresses.
Yeah, the other thing important to say is that I've heard a lot of comments about people saying, "Oh, how is the network going to decentralize?" Decentralization really is a gradient, because there's no fixed number that you can say, "Well, this is what we need to have decentralized." The important thing is that you can run a node pretty easily. I have a guide on YouTube if you want to run your own node. So at start, having 17 addresses, completely independent. I don't know who any of these people are, except for maybe just 2 nodes. One of them is run by Koinos blocks, and the other one by Koinos.io themselves, and the other one being Burncoin. But whoever's running nodes out there, they're independent people running nodes on their own. So I would say that it's a pretty decentralized system to begin with. And if more people run nodes, it's only going to get better. And so I think that's the answer to when people say, how decentralized is Koinos? It's quite decentralized.
Yeah, and if that trend were to continue as we get more addresses claimed in the coming months, theoretically, by the time we get fully claimed, we'd have 100 to 200 nodes running, which, I imagine a lot of the people who wanted to claim early were doing it to produce blocks, and we'll probably see, more a lower percentage of people actually wanting to produce as the longer they wait, right? You've got the early people jumping in because they want to be part of that. So I don't know if we'll get fully to 100, 200 in by the time we get all claimed, but as more tokens get distributed through sales and people transferring their tokens to other people, and for whatever reason, I think we'll the number will continue to climb.
A couple more questions here. We got one that says, any negative effects to not claiming yet? Really, there are no negative effects. As Luke said, it will take some time to get everybody out here to claim. There will be no time limit to claim. Koinos Group has outright said that they will keep the claim site up until 100% of the Genesis tokens have been claimed. So no negative effects. The only impact it has is it adjusts the virtual supply. And again, virtual supply is how much coin is out there plus how much VHP is out there. So the inflation rate is applied toward the virtual supply. Don't claim it, then we're just having a different virtual supply. Let's get some other questions here. I've been running a node since Saturday, still nothing produced, assuming not enough VHP comparatively. If you're running the node, there's a couple of indications that your node is working correctly. One of them will say producing with, and that with number should be exactly how much VHP is in your wallet. If you don't see that, that means your wallet isn't connected to your miner. You may show some other errors. Just make sure you check that out. I think some of the smallest producers right now are producing with maybe I would want to say 50,000 I've seen. So you can produce a node, you can produce some blocks with 50,000. If you have less than that, I think you should have produced a block by now. If you have any issues, feel free to reach out in the group. You can DM me. I can help you troubleshoot your miner and make sure it works correctly.
Yeah, and there's 7 million VHP out there. So how many blocks have we had since Saturday? So today's Monday at noon. So we've had 48 hours. So 48 times
57,000. It's 28,800 blocks a day, I think.
Yeah, so we've had 57,000 blocks or so. Yep. And then if you were to take 7 million divided by that number, so if you have more than 120 VHP, then on average you would have produced at least 1 block by now. So probably have something not correctly set up, or you're just particularly unlucky.
Yeah, just reach out to us. We'll help you troubleshoot the node. The best place actually to do that is go through Discord. That way we don't have a bunch of messages bombing around, because Telegram is really just one chat box. It goes pretty crazy. Now, I wanted to get into Burncoin, but we're running out of time here because people tend to have issues watching a longer video. Luke and I will be doing a Burncoin, a full Burncoin breakdown for people out there, so you understand how it works. But for right now, you are able to deposit tokens into it. It will automatically burn your coin and begin mining for you. And you should see on your ticker that your PVHP is increasing in value relative to coin. And a lot of people out there have had some pretty pleasant experiences with it so far. And honestly, thank you so much for joining our burn pool. Really can't thank you guys enough for being part of this.
Yeah, thank you. And we're not going to get into all the details today, but I do just want to reiterate. We said this with the announcement. The burn pool is under centralized control right now. So putting your tokens in is putting your trust in us, which is not the way we want the pool to be in the long term. We are going to lock it down after 30 days. At the same time, the Koinos group locks down their contract upload access to the system contracts of Koinos.
Yep.
So it is technically insecure right now. You need to put trust in us if you're going to be putting your tokens in here. So I can't recommend to anybody to be participating in the pool today. If you want to, just to show your support and try it out, thank you. But yeah, it is under centralized control. So fair warning, it is up to you. Do your own research.
It's under our centralized control. We have complete control over the pool right now.
Yep.
And really, part of the reason why is that if anybody does anything foolish, we can at least try to retrieve your tokens. But after we lock down the contract, if you do anything bad, we can't help you.
Right.
So that's mainly why it exists that way. And for those who trust us to send their tokens into our hands, again, thank you very, very much.
Appreciate it.
But look out, we'll have another episode this week that really focuses completely on Burncoin. It will talk about exactly how it functions, the aspects of it, some planned UI upgrades that we're going to push through. But it will definitely come out this week because we want you guys to have all the information you can about using burncoin.com. Any closing words, Luke?
None from me. No, this has been great. Appreciate everybody.
Absolutely. As far as I go, any questions? I'm always free and available. So take care, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, y'all. Bye now.